guys, welcome in and happy Monday, happy February, and happy Black History Month. Welcome in. This is our second Monday midday Q&A live with RacQuelle, and we're going to talk cruising. So if you have any questions about cruising, anything related to cruising, feel free to drop those in the chat. Now, I started this series last Monday because I get a lot of questions as a frequent cruiser, as well as a travel advisor about cruising. And because we get so many questions all the time, either on our videos or emails or direct messages, I just found it easier to maybe create this series to go live to answer your questions live. So if you have any questions regarding cruising, feel free to drop those in the chat. Now we will spend about an hour live, and whatever questions you have, I'm going to do my best to answer. If for whatever reason I can't answer your question, I will come back the following Monday or whenever I go live again to answer your questions. So be sure to drop those in the chat. And if you are new here, I am RacQuelle from MHFamilyAdventures. We are a cruise vlogging family. Been on 66 cruises, actually preparing to take my 66th cruise this upcoming weekend. So stay tuned for that. But just an avid cruiser. We have tons of cruise content out there, so be sure to check it out. We have full-length cruise vlogs, port guides, tips and tricks, all kinds of things on our YouTube channel. So if you are new here, please consider going over to check out what videos we have. Please consider subscribing. We are on the road to hitting 50,000 subscribers this year. That is our goal. We doubled over last year from 12,000 to well over 25,000. So it is our goal to see if we can double over this year. So if you could help us out by sharing this stream out, because maybe you have a friend or a family member or someone who loves to cruise that might have questions they want answered, share this stream with them. Let them know we're going to be going live most Mondays when I'm not cruising, and I will answer your questions live. Also, if you are looking to book a cruise, first time cruiser, or just wanting to book a cruise, reach out to us. Our travel agency is Major Adventures Travel. We would love to help get you booked, help plan your vacation, your cruise vacation, and answer all questions you have. So this live stream is not about me. It's not about MH Family Ventures. It's about you guys and whatever questions you may have about cruising. I don't like to call myself an expert. However, because I have been on so many cruises across so many cruise lines, I think I'm kind of equipped to answer those questions for you, and I'll do my best to do that. So let me go see who's here in the chat. And if you guys didn't notice, I did add in a goal, a super chat goal. Now, I get questioned all the time, how can we support your mission, support your channel, support all of your travels? One way you can do that is, first off, you guys being here. We appreciate you being here on a Monday. But being here supports us. Hitting that thumbs up for us, it tells the algorithm that this video is interesting, people want to watch, and it kind of pushes us out further to reach other cruisers, other people who want to travel. So liking the video, dropping a comment on any of our videos helps us, as well as if you want to support by offering a super chat, super sticker, that also helps. If we can get to at least 10 super chats during today's live stream, I plan to go live next Monday. Now, I don't have it on the schedule for next Monday because I will be cruising. However, if we do get 10 super chats, I will be going live next Monday with a Monday midday Q&A from a Costa cruise. So that's a cruise announcement for those of you who aren't channel members. I will be boarding my first Costa cruise actually Sunday, but I will plan to go live on Monday to answer your cruise questions. But let's see who's here. Now, also something else. Last week we had about 160 people join us for this live stream, and it was I was so excited to see that many people engaging and asking questions. I'm kind of playing with what time is going to work best. Last week we went live at noon. I thought the noon time frame would work with people taking lunch breaks and working, things like that. I decided to try out 11 a.m. for today. We'll see how that works. But I did place a survey on our community tab on YouTube to find out what time works best for you all. And it looks like 2 p.m. was the most popular. I think last time I checked, it was over 60% of you guys that voted selected 2 p.m. So we are going to test out 2 p.m. moving forward to see how that works. So we'll it'll change depending on, I want to make sure that people are going to be engaged and asking questions. So stay tuned for the notifications because we will be changing this to, looks like 2 p.m. But let's see who's here in the chat. Welcome in to everyone watching, whether you're watching from YouTube or watching from Facebook. Let's see here. Welcome in, Miss Tiffy PD. Appreciate you being here. TJ's Destinations, welcome in and congratulations on your YouTube milestone. I saw that this morning. Anshay, welcome in. Good morning to you. Liam's having fun. Thank you so much for being here and thank you for being a channel member. It says, how have you been? I've been good. I'm feeling a little under the weather though. I think there's something going around, flu, something's going on. I'm hoping that, whatever, however I'm feeling right now is all it's going to be so I can board my cruise this weekend. So we'll see, but I'm doing well. Lawan, welcome in. Good morning to you. Charlene Phelps, good morning to you. Thank you for being a channel member. Christine E, good morning to you. Drea H, another channel member. Appreciate you being here. Hello to you. Stacy Harrington, good morning to you. This Tiffy Petey says, I wanted to do the special 4-night on Star. Is that ship similar to Icon? Anything different between the two? All right, so we have our first question. And guys, if you have any questions about cruising in general, feel free to drop those in the chat. So if you guys did not hear, Royal Caribbean announced last week that Star of the Seas, which is it's pretty much identical to Icon of the Seas. I don't honestly know of any major difference between the two. It is pretty much a mirror image to Icon of the Seas. Icon of the Seas is currently the largest ship in the world. It made its debut, was it early last year? Be sure to check it out because I was on that media sailing. So I do have content, ship tour, all of that for Icon of the Seas. So check that out. But it's pretty much a replica of Icon of the Seas. And it was scheduled to make its debut August 31st of this year. However, the construction is kind of ahead of schedule. So Royal Caribbean decided to add on 2 showcase sailings before the inaugural. Now, I know that upset quite a few people. I had a couple of clients booked on that inaugural. Same thing happened to us on Utopia of the Seas. We were scheduled for the official inaugural, and then they added a couple of sailings prior to that. So it's kind of like a trend that's happening with Royal Caribbean, I think. But I do have a few cabins available. In fact, I did just release this morning on Instagram and Facebook a quick clip sharing that I have a few cabins available remaining on the 23rd sailing, which this sailing will go to Perfect Day at Coco Cay, departs from Port Canaveral. So I do have a few cabins left. I've been selling them since they released, and pretty much it's sold out at this time. Now, I do suspect that they're going to have more cabins pop up over time as the guests that were booked on the original inaugural are shifting over. Then they can really see what their availability is. So it's a possibility that more cabins will pop up. But like right now, if you go online to check for 2 guests, you're going to see that interior cabins are sold out, ocean view cabins are sold out. There's only a couple of balconies left, but I do have a few available as well. And tomorrow I will make an announcement for the 27th sailing if you want to get on board Star of the Seas. The thing about it though, you have to deposit as soon as you reach out to me because the cabins are selling and I can't hold cabins for long. So, but to answer your question, it is Icon class. It's pretty much just like Icon. And this is the perfect chance to test out an Icon class ship without paying guys, Icon is expensive. It's really, really expensive. And you have to pay a $250 deposit for Icon or Star on their typical sailings. So now is a great time to get locked in at that $100 deposit. Now you won't have too long to pay on it because the cruise payments are due, I believe June, like the first week of June. So you would have to be able to pay it off relatively quick, but there's not going to be any other 4-night sailings. At least it's not on the schedule for through at least 2027 or so. So I know with Wonder of the Seas started off with long sailings, and Wonder of the Seas will actually move to 3 and 4-night sailings in August of this year. If you guys are not familiar with that, and I do have some discounted group space available for some of those sailings. But yes, it is pretty much the exact same ship. Welcome in, Victoria Jones. For those of you that are just now tuning in, I'm RacQuelle from MHFamilyAdventures, and this is our Monday midday cruise Q&A, and it's just answering questions that you may have about cruising. So feel free to drop any questions you may have in the chat. Welcome in, Victoria. Erica Crane, welcome into you. Oh, sorry, hold on. The chat scrolled all the way down to the bottom. Welcome in, Parker's on the Go. Appreciate you being here, and thank you so much for being channel members. And actually, Parker's on the Go, they are going live right after this. So at noon, head over to Parker's on the Go. They're going live to talk. I think I saw this morning Royal Caribbean, actually. So if you're curious to know more about Royal Caribbean and to kind of hear their experience, or I think Siobhan's hosting this, head over to Parker's on the Go right after this this cruise Q&A. Big Murph's Life, welcome in. Appreciate you being here. Savvy Voyages, welcome in, and congratulations to you. I didn't get a chance to respond to your message, your email, but congratulations to you. You know what I'm talking about. Kathy R.T. Clark, welcome in. Appreciate you being here. Welcome in, Carol. Welcome in, everyone. Team Reese Travels, welcome in. Thank you for being channel members. But let's get to the cruise question. So I'm going to kind of just scroll through. Welcome into everyone. If I don't speak to you specifically, no hard feelings. I'm just trying to get to these cruise questions. D. Rose says, good morning. I just looked into the Crown Princess ship. Very affordable and beautiful ports. Yes. So If you are, hold on, I'm trying to pull these questions up and do all of this from my from my computer. Yeah, Princess Cruises, I think that they are somewhat of an underrated cruise line. I sailed my first Princess Cruise almost 2 years ago, and they're probably one of my favorite cruise lines. So hope you have a great time on board. Hold on, just scrolling. If you're watching on Facebook, if you have questions you want to ask, you can drop those in the comments. It is feeding over here to me as well. Let's see here. Bubba D. Williams says, "Good morning. What are your thoughts on Costa Maya away from cruise port beaches?" My and guys, I say Costa Maya. I think it's Costa Maya. I think I say it wrong every time. But it depends on the time of year you go. They do sometimes have an issue with like the algae. So it really just depends on the time of year you go. But I think they have beautiful beaches. They have a strip area where they have like beach resort type places that you can go that are all inclusive. You can get, pretty cheap food, cheap massages. That's a short taxi ride. The issue with Costa Maya is getting the taxis. It's a common thing that just started happening like last year, where people are now starting to feel unsafe getting in taxis there. There were some scams going on where the taxi drivers, like if you already pre-purchased a resort or you just needed to get a ride there, they were taking people to different resorts, like their family members' resorts, or saying that this resort was closed. So you really have to do your due diligence when you're in Costa Maya to make sure that, if you're getting in a taxi, that it is first off one of the certified taxis, and that, they're going to take you where you're supposed to go. I personally, because that started happening, when I go back to Costa Maya on my own solo, I more than likely will not take a taxi for that reason. So I will probably plan on doing a group excursion or ship excursion so that I feel safer doing that. That's my only issue with Costa Maya. Is I think it's a beautiful port. There's a lot to do in the port area. They have beautiful beaches not too far from the port. It's not walkable though, so you're going to have to. It's probably like a 5-minute ride, but you will have to take a taxi. They have 2 different taxi stands when you leave out the port gates. The ones that are, I'm not going to say authorized, they are authorized, but the ones that seem to not have as many issues are the ones closest to the port exit. They are regulated, and you don't really have as many issues. If you try to do like I did on one of my vlogs where I went further out to get the cheaper taxi, that's where you're going to have issues. So if you're going to take a taxi, go to the first taxi stand as soon as you exit the port exit, because that's where you're going to find the regulated taxi prices, and I think you're going to have a better experience there. All right, just scrolling through to get questions. Everyone's speaking, but welcome in. Let's see here. It says, every time I think Carnival's the most affordable, I find other ships, MSC and Princess Cruise Lines, are very affordable. Very good point. It's not a question, but a very good point. Carnival used to be like one of the cheaper cruise lines. It's not like that anymore. I think because it's really grown in popularity, their prices have gone up. So MSC, honestly, is going to be your biggest bang for your buck as far as pricing. Princess Cruises, depending on the sailing. Now, Alaska for Princess is going to be expensive because Princess is ranked #1 for Alaska, but you can find some affordable Caribbean cruises on Princess, pretty comparable to Carnival. Now, where you're going to have a higher cost, well, not really a higher cost, better value would be if you add on that Princess Plus, Princess Premier packaging. That's going to give you, gratuities included, specialty dining, specialty desserts, drink package, Wi-Fi, things like that. But yeah, Carnival is no longer like, I used to have clients reaching out saying, "Hey, can you get me the cheapest cruise?" Which is relative. I always say, "What does cheap mean to you?" But they would be like, "Can you get me on the cheapest Carnival cruise?" I'm like, "Well, actually, MSC has it for way less than your budget. You're going to get a better value." So I've been referring a lot of people to MSC. In fact, in January, I booked, was it 113 cruises? And you wouldn't believe that almost half of those cruises were MSC. So people are really starting to get word of MSC, and they just offer really good value. So, and speaking of MSC, we will be on board MSC World America in April, so stay tuned for that. And I will be releasing a series for MSC Virtuosa, where I just came back a few weeks ago from Martinique, and I sailed some of the Southern Caribbean ports. So stay tuned for that. Uh, but again, if you are just now tuning in, I appreciate it. We have 57 watching, not quite as many as we did last week when we went live at noon. I think noon might be sweet spot for people taking lunch. And I was just trying to toy with what this midday live stream would do. But again, if you saw the survey that I put on our community tab, we probably will move to 2 p.m. moving forward because that was what the majority voted for. Those who did vote, it seems like that 2 p.m. might be a sweet spot. So that is the plan moving forward. But let me see, I'm just scrolling to find more comments. Welcome in, Phil and Dee's Travel Spree. Appreciate you guys being here. Welcome in on the Go with Yellow. Erica Crane has a question. Let's see. Gotta hide this one. There we go. It says, have you seen or had clients that had to show marriage certificates because name is not the same on birth certificate? Yes. So if you were recently married, or let's say, when you book your cruise, you need to make sure that whatever you put on the booking matches your travel documents. Your travel documents would be recommended passport, a valid passport that doesn't expire for at least 6 months from the time you return from your cruise. Or if you are a U.S. citizen, U.S. resident, and your cruise departs from the same U.S. port and returns to the same U.S. ports, and it does not stop in places like Panama Canal or islands within the West Indies like Martinique or Barbados, then you can have your original birth certificate and ID. So if you got married and you booked the cruise under your married name, your birth certificate's going to be you booked it under your married name. Your birth certificate's going to have your maiden name. So you have to make sure that you have a copy of your marriage license to show why there's a difference on what's on your document, which is your birth certificate, and your booking. Now, some people sometimes they don't question it all the time. It's always better to have it than not have it. If your driver's license matches your married name, a lot of times they won't really question it. But if your driver's license hasn't been updated, and of course your birth certificate's in your maiden name, it's just safer to have your marriage license. But yes, I have had clients to have a copy of their marriage license to board the ship. So it's just better to have. And I say, it's one of those things you can print it off real quick. You can even just save it on your phone so you always have it just to show them that's why there was a name change. But yes, your name needs to match the travel documents. You can be denied boarding if it does not match. But welcome into everyone watching. I appreciate you guys being here. We have 65 people watching. If you guys can be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Again, this is our Monday midday cruise Q&A, and I will be going live most Mondays when I'm not cruising to just answer questions that you may have about cruising. And I started this because as a travel advisor, business owner, as well as a content creator, I get a lot of questions in the comments of our videos. For the most part, I do my best to try to answer those questions. But as things continue to grow, it's difficult to answer every question that I get. And then I get a lot of questions too from people that aren't necessarily clients that have cruise questions. And I'll be quite honest, it's a business model to where I can't always advise because I need to have time, dedicated to my clients who are booking through me to advise them. So this is just a way to, if you're not a client, you're a supporter of our channel, what have you, you can ask questions and I'll do my best to answer. So that's kind of what this is. It's not about MH Family Adventures or our channel. It's about us answering questions for you guys. Let's see here. On the Go Yellow says, yes, I got that offer via email as I was on the original. Yes, she's referring to Star of the Seas. But welcome into everyone that is watching. Just scrolling through that to answer any questions. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to drop those in the chat. Okay, here's a question. It says, Eddie, welcome in. Says, MSC, yay or nay? I have offers through your comp. I love the look of the ships and the modern interior. Just unsure about does that say food and entertainment? If you've watched our channel, if you're new, because I don't recognize your name, be sure to consider subscribing to our channel. We have a ton of MSC content on our channel. I, for one, advocate for MSC because they offer a great value. And I have a lot of clients who are very budget conscious, a lot of families, and I think MSC offers a great bang for your buck. Now, if you have a your comped offer, give them a try. Don't let that expire. Give them a try. It is different. It is a European-based cruise line. And so some of the service, some of the things are a little bit different than what you might see on Carnival or Royal Caribbean or some of the mainstream cruise lines. MSC is starting to become a mainstream cruise line. And with their MSC World America, they're going to be designing it to more so adapt to how Americans like to travel and cruise. So won't be the same European style as the other ships. So MSC World America, if you have an offer for that, get on that ship for sure. But my favorite MSC cruise would be, well, between two would be MSC Meraviglia, which currently is leaving from Brooklyn, and MSC Seashore. So, I mean, I have vlogs on Divina, MSC Grandiosa, which is now sailing from the US. I was just on MSC Virtuosa. So I have quite a few vlogs out there, but I say if you have a Your Compt offer, give them a try. It's a perfect chance to try them out. It is a little different. The biggest complaint I get about MSC is that more so their older ships or even the middle-aged ships, they don't have many casual dining options. So, or really none at all. So you're pretty much dining room or buffet unless you do specialty dining. So that is like the biggest complaint that I hear from people. The food over time has improved. That was also, a big complaint that people had, was that the food just wasn't good. The food has definitely improved. Now, is it the top food out there? No, it's not. But you will be able to eat, you will find something to eat, and you'll have a good time. And they offer a great value with the drinks and Wi-Fi included for a lot of their promotions. So beautiful ships. The entertainment is a little quirky sometimes, but they offer a lot of entertainment. They'll have live music, they'll have theatrical shows. Some of the ships have what they call Cabaret Rouge, which is like a variety show, which I love. And they do it for like 4 hours in the evening, every evening, where they'll have people coming out to sing. They'll have magicians, they'll have, acrobats, and it's a cool experience. So it's different. You're not going to find that on another, like on Carnival. So give them a try. Let's see, just scrolling, trying to find more comments or more questions. Let's see here. We have Erica watching from Facebook. Appreciate you being here, Erica. Says, what do you think? Sorry, it's David Ruffin. What do you think about Carnival Venezia? We do have a series on Carnival Venezia. We were on board. I'm trying to think. Venezia Forense. I get confused. Venezia is the one from New York. Was it last June or the June before that? We were on board the U.S. inaugural sailing out of New York. My son Dice and myself, and had a really good time. Now, Carnival kind of built these ships up, like Firenze and Venezia, to be Italian themed or fun Italian style. And honestly, I don't think I've heard that phrase since they were released. If you're going on it to have more of an Italian themed experience, that it's kind of disappointing because it's really not, other than the decor being Italian themed, there's really not a whole lot going on. They will have a masquerade ball of some sort where you wear a mask, and then they'll have a captain's toast. There are some food options that are Italian based, but it's just like another Carnival ship. You're going to get the same Carnival experience. They will add a couple of Italian themed, like family type shows and things, but great ship. I had no major complaints on Venezia. So if you want to stay, if you're a Carnival cruiser and you want to try a different type of Carnival cruise ship, Carnival Venezia might be for you. Let's see here. Some D Rose says, I'm looking at cruises MSC Solo under 900 for 7 days. Absolutely. And Princess 1164, I believe it was awesome because Carnival wants 1500. Now, and that's the thing. Carnival does not have solo cabins. Carnival charges you double occupancy. So you're never going to get solo rates on Carnival, unfortunately. MSC, certain ships have solo and studio cabins, and they are deeply discounted. Princess, they have some solo, not too many, some solo cabins available. You have to really look for those. But yeah, MSC, you can get on board really, really cheap. And the solo cabins, they sell out quickly. So let me give you an example. We have another group cruise coming up next June. It's called Sisters Cruising Abroad. It is a girls trip. It is a ladies trip. I'm saying that because I keep getting questions on, can my husband or nephew, whoever join? It is a ladies trip. We're going back to Europe. So if you guys missed our MSC Grandiosa series from 2 years ago, it's our #1 watch video on our channel. My sisters and I, we went to Europe for the first time, cruising abroad on MSC. Great time. But I advertised it, and solo cabins sold out like that. There were only like 8 solo cabins. So now I have people that want to go with us. They're solo, and they're paying like $3,000 or so for a balcony for one guest. So MSC does have great solo rates, but you have to book those fast. So like if you're looking at MSC World America, I just created a group last night actually for MSC World America for next year. There's only a handful of solo cabins on that ship. So they go really fast. So if you are looking at MSC and you're a solo cruiser, get on board as soon as you can. Something else to note for their ships, their solo cabins tend to be all the way forward. So if you have motion sensitivity, keep that in mind. There are a few, depending on the ship, where they're midship, but they sell out really fast. But again, if you are watching, let's see, we have 74 people watching. Appreciate you guys being here. I'm RacQuelle from MHFamilyAdventures, and this is our Monday midday cruise Q&A, where I go live every Monday just to answer questions that and let me not say every Monday. Mondays when I'm not cruising, to answer questions that you may have about cruising. If you are new here, please consider subscribing because we are on the road to 50,000 subscribers, and we would love for you guys to join us for this adventure. And if you guys didn't notice, I do have a goal for super chats for this video. If we get up to 10 super chats, then I will go live next Monday because I will be on board another Italian themed ship, Costa Cruises, very first time on Costa Cruise, which, guys, is also a very budget friendly cruise line. Now, I've heard some bad things about Costa Cruises. I'm curious to get out there and experience it for myself. So if you want to see what it's like cruising on Costa Cruises, make sure you subscribe, turn on that notification bell, because I will go live from the ship, but I might go live next Monday when I'm on board to have another cruise Q&A, maybe answer questions you might have about Costa Cruises. And to put it in perspective, guys, I paid $600. $600 for a solo, and it's not even a solo cabin. I paid $600, drinks included, on Costa Cruises. So last minute booking. So yeah, you got to kind of branch out if you're trying to find deals. So make sure you're following along. Follow us on Instagram because I will be sharing stories of my experience on board Costa. But if you guys could be sure to hit that thumbs up, I would appreciate it. All right, I'm looking for questions. Let's see here. D-Rose says, looking forward to your vlogs because I'm interested in MSC World America. Yeah, I will have those vlogs out in April, so stay tuned. Let's see here. Nice meeting you here. Nice meeting you. Thank you for being here. It says, question, I booked a free casino cruise. Is it considered casinos at sea? If there is a casino sea boarding line, it depends on the cruise line. So you're saying that you have a casino offer and you're wanting to know if it's a casino at sea. It doesn't happen very often. There are some times where, like, there's a chartered casino at sea where people are thank you so much, Charlene, for that super chat. I appreciate it. Guys, super chats, comments, liking the video, sharing it out, it helps support our channel. So we appreciate you, Charlene. But there are some chartered sailings for casinos at sea. I don't know exactly what you're referring to, but if you're speaking of like Carnival, let's say it's a premier cruise, I have not seen it to where there's like a separate boarding line, although it says that you get premier access. It really just depends on the offer. They have different levels of casino statuses. Like if you are what they call Echo now, I have some clients who are Echo status with Carnival. They get limo rides from the airport and they get to like jump the line once they get to the cruise terminal. So it really just depends. But as far as I have not seen a casino boarding line per se. But again, it depends on the cruise line. Let's see here. Charlene, very good question. Does MSC allow bringing your own snacks on board? They do not. So unlike other cruise lines where you can, well, let me say this. They say you can't bring food on board. Usually they're talking about things that are open. If you have like I've had clients to be able to take chips and things like that on board the ship in a suitcase, wasn't a problem. If you have anything open container, they're not going to allow it. MSC does not allow you to take sodas on board, canned water, wine, or anything. Most cruise lines will allow you to take on, 12 pack of canned soda. They'll allow you to take on a bottle of wine that's 750 milliliters large. MSC does not allow that. So if you're trying to take drinks or anything like that, they will not allow it. Food wise, it says no, but I have had clients that have been able to take like snacks and chips and things like that on board without a problem. No guarantees though. It does say in writing, no food is allowed to be brought on board, but I know I've had clients that have been able to. If it's due to medical reason, and say you're diabetic, or say you have a certain medical condition that requires you to eat certain food, you need to make sure that your travel advisor, and if you need a travel advisor, feel free to reach out to me. I am a specialist. I'm actually one of the top salespeople for MSC Cruises. Reach out. I'd love to help get you booked, but they do have a guest access department that you can notify, and they will give you permission to bring certain things on if it's due to medical reasons. All righty. But I appreciate you guys being here. Let's see here. Let's see. Satin Jazz Lady says, question, I'll be in St. Croix with teen grandkids in May. I don't see an excursion that's inviting. Have you visited? And if so, can you suggest something that may be exciting? I have not been to St. Croix. I have not been to St. Croix yet. I was in St. Lucia, St. Kitts, Martinique, Guadeloupe. So I was just at a bunch. It's on my radar, but I would recommend going to, if you don't see anything with the cruise line for St. Croix, visit one of our partners, Shore Excursions Group. Go to their website. I can share the link with you. If you go to their website, you can filter down by your ship and sail date, and they'll offer different excursions for St. Croix. Now, the thing about Shore Excursions Group, which I highly recommend them, they are a third-party shore excursion provider, and booking through them, you're going to have a return to ship guarantee. That's always a concern for cruisers, is making sure they get back to the ship. Shore Excursions Group is going to get you back to the ship on time. And they offer smaller group sizes. My tours that I just took a couple weeks ago when I was in Martinique. Thank you so much, Mickey's Adventures, for this super chat. We appreciate that. So we had, I pretty much, well, 3 of my tours were through Shore Excursions Group. You're going to have a smaller group size, more authentic experience. I overall have a positive experience. I had positive experiences with Shore Excursions Group. So if you don't see something on the cruise line's website, check out Shore Excursions Group. Let's see here. Welcome into everyone. Let's see here. Jamie Weaver says, do you know if all of the family harbor rooms on Carnival have a split bathroom? We love that feature on our Disney cruise. Yes, they do. They do. Now, not all ships have family harbor. You know what? Let me take that back. I don't know if the interior family harbor rooms have. Don't quote me on that. I know for sure the Ocean View family harbor rooms have the split layout. They also have what they have. It's called a 6M, 6L category, which are their deluxe ocean views on certain ships that have the split level that aren't family harbor. So if you're on a budget, sometimes the family harbor is a little more expensive. If you look to see if there's a 6L or 6M category, you're going to be able to get that split restroom. I love it myself. But yeah, don't quote me on that. I don't know if the interior cabins do. I've never been in one of them. I don't know if the interior cabins have the split layout, but they might. But yes, absolutely. If you guys aren't familiar with a split bathroom, you're going to have 2 different restrooms, both with sinks. Hold on, make sure I'm saying it right. Both with sinks. One's going to be your standard restroom. So you're going to have a shower, toilet, and sink. And then your next restroom is going to have a sink with a shower or tub, so that if you have a family of 5, you can have 2 people showering using the restroom at the same time. But you're going to only have 1 toilet. Let's see here. Miss Coleman, welcome in. Appreciate you being here, Charity. Says, good question. When booking a cabin portside, good question. Oh my gosh, I have to explain this to clients a lot. When booking a cabin portside, does that always mean that you will be able to see the ports when docked? No, it does not mean that. It means probably 85-90% of the time you will be able to see the ports when you dock. However, sometimes ships might have to, depending on the direction the wind is blowing, they might have to back into, the dock, or they might have to go forward in. And so that could change the direction of where you are. So if you're portside hoping you're going to see the port, then you may not. Like I'm thinking, for instance, if you go to Coco Cay, because I've had this with clients before, like I want to see the island when I'm portside. If you're portside Coco Cay, depending on how the ship docks, you might be looking at the ship beside you because of how it's set up. So I never tell people to, people that for the most part, you're going to see the port coming in, does not guarantee that you're going to see it once it's docked, if that makes sense. Because it just depends on the weather, depends on a lot of different variables as to how they are able to maneuver the ship and dock. The one thing that is kind of guaranteed that I tell people, especially with MSC, people want to be on the side with the lighthouse on MSC. So you need to make sure you have an even number if you're going to book MSC and you're going to Ocean Cay and you want to see the lighthouse. They almost always park or dock that way. So if you're on the even side, you're going to see the lighthouse. But yes, if you want portside cabins, I mean, for the most part you will, but it's not guaranteed. Let's see here. Welcome in, Miss Tiffy PD. Let's see here. Oh, hold on. I think I scrolled all the way back to the top. Let's see here. But if you have any other questions, feel free to drop those in the chat while I scroll to find them. And if you aren't already subscribed to our channel, please consider subscribing. We greatly appreciate it. We are on our road. We're almost at 28,000. We're our subscribers. We're growing pretty fast right now. So we appreciate you guys being here. And I lost where I was. Let's see here. Someone asked, have you guys seen the new Sea Ducks app? I don't even know what that is. I'll have to look for it. I don't know what that is. Is it like where you hide the ducks? Yeah, we used to hide ducks. We don't do that anymore. Just because we pack so lightly and that's like, that's one less thing we have to worry about. We used to hide the ducks. If you're referring to duck hiding on ships, then yes. Mommy Imani, welcome in. She says hit that like button. I appreciate that. Desiree says, hello, first time catching your live chat, Missouri. Appreciate you being here as well. Now, this is just a Q&A chit chat. We will have our regular cruise chit chat Tuesday tomorrow, where we'll just kind of talk about different topics about cruising. This is more so to answer your questions about cruising. Welcome in your favorite couple. Appreciate you guys being here. Miss Tiffy PD says, best port to sail from can be subjective. It is. It is. Which is the easiest port? I'm sorry, it keeps cutting off. Which is easiest port to sail from? For me, people say they don't like Miami. I personally like Miami. If I had a choice between picking a cruise out of Miami or picking a cruise out of Florida and how to get to the port, I'm picking Miami every time because the airport is just a short distance to the cruise terminal. The airport, I mean, everything is like kind of right there. So I like Miami. It can get congested depending on the time that you embark. But I personally like Miami. I'm not a huge fan of Port Canaveral. I know a lot of people that love Port Canaveral. I personally don't like it because you're 45, 50 minutes from the airport. So you're going to have to figure out transfers. Ubers can be expensive. Now, our partner Cruise Control Transportation, that's who I recommend to viewers and clients. And guys, if you use our code MHFam, you're going to save 10%. Still currently it's $25 per person each way. You're going to have no more than 10 people in your vehicle. Great service. We love Corey and his team at Cruise Control. But I personally don't care to go out of Port Canaveral because of just having to get there. Also, the hotels, because it's recommended that you stay over, at least one night before your cruise so you make your cruise. The hotels at Port Canaveral can be relatively expensive compared to the ones at Orlando Airport. So yeah, I would say Miami's probably the easiest port for me to get out of. Yeah. Now I did like New Orleans when I cruised New Orleans, which was a while ago. New Orleans is my favorite city. I did appreciate that because it was right there in the downtown area. And if you stay at one of the hotels right there in the downtown area, like where the convention center is in New Orleans, like you can literally walk to the cruise terminal. So I appreciated that because you could pretty much walk there. Let's see here. Eddie says, I'm a subscriber. Love the channel. Thank you so much. We appreciate you subscribing. Let's see here. Big Murph says, which would you say is the best season to cruise in? Is there really a big difference outside of the temperature weather, referring to the vibes on the ships and ports? So some Caribbean ports are seasonal. So the itinerary that I just got off that left Martinique, well, I started off in St. Lucia, visited Martinique, Guadeloupe, St. Kitts, St. Martin, a couple other ports. It's seasonal. And that's because people tend to want to. Thank you so much, Daniel. We appreciate the super chat. We appreciate all the support you guys give to our channel. So thank you so much for that. But it really just depends on, I think those areas, because it gets cold, people don't really visit there as much, and then it becomes rainy season. So you have to look to see when rainy season is. A lot of people don't want to visit the Caribbean when it is rainy season, and rainy season looks different for like the Southern Caribbean than it does other areas. And so rainy season might mean it's like pouring all day, every day. Whereas like if you're going to Nassau or Bahamas or what have you, you might get like a quick shower and then it's hot and humid again. So I would say the biggest difference, yes, temperature, of course. For me, it's the water temperature. I like to get in the ocean. I like to snorkel. I really can't do that when it's wintertime because for me, although it's not really ice cold, I just can't do it if the temperature is not where I need it. So I prefer to cruise in the summer, fall for that reason. Going like right now, the water's a lot cooler. But also consider the wintertime, people don't understand this. People always get focused on hurricane season. Like, I don't want to cruise hurricane season. Guys, hurricane season is half of the year. So, I mean, you're looking at a big chunk of the year for hurricane season. People think hurricane season is when you're going to get the most like turbulence on the ship or, what have you. It's actually not hurricane season. It is the winter time when there's like winter, um, what do you call them, like fronts and different things coming through. That's when it's rocky. So January, February, it can be very, very rocky out there, because of what's happening across areas with winter weather. So vibes on the ships, I would say it's going to be more upbeat, of course, when there's more people on board, which will be your peak seasons, spring break, summer. It's going to be more lively. At this point, I think regardless of the time of year, cruise ships are selling out regardless. But you're going to have more kids on board summer, so the vibe is a little different. Whereas, like if you're sailing in January, it's probably going to be a little quieter. So it just really depends. I will cruise year round; it doesn't matter to me. But I know, like, I'm probably not going to book a snorkeling excursion for January. If I do, I'll do it by ear. Like that day of, I'll book something once I can test the water temperature or know what it is. But yeah, pretty much for me, any time of the year is good. Always have travel insurance. That way, if you do happen to have issues with hurricane season, you're covered there. So hope that answered your question. I think I was all over the place with that one. Let's see here. Eddie says, Jamie, they have all split bathrooms in the family harbor. Thank you for that. Because, when you're a travel advisor and a cruiser and you're on so many ships, that stuff starts to kind of, feed together. I can't keep track sometimes, so I do have to do some research sometimes. But other times it's like I know off the top of my head, I can tell you cabin numbers. I can do that. It's just a lot. There are so many ships, so many cruise lines. And when you've been on 66 cruises, it's like it all just kind of melts together. But thank you so much for that information. Um, let's see here. D Rose says, is there a fee for travel agents that clients pay? Next time I look into a cruise or all inclusive, I'll turn to you. Just never knew how it works. Oh, very good question. So if you guys don't know, I am a travel advisor. We own our own travel agency, Major Adventures Travel, focus only on cruising. We only book cruises. That's it. Really, cruises. If people need help with excursions, we can help with that. We do not book flights. If it's a cruise line connected flight, meaning if it's a Carnival Flight of Fun, we'll help with that. But we do not book flights. There's no fee to use us, but we do respectfully, guys. This is the time where we're getting a lot of people asking questions about cruising, asking for inquiries, and they're booking on their own. Because we don't charge a planning fee or a service fee or anything like that, we do ask for clients that are genuinely looking to try to get booked. We totally understand that once we send pricing, everyone's not going to book, but sometimes you get people that you send pricing to, have meetings with, you talk with them, and then you reach out a few days later and say, oh, I booked it myself. Like, well, why did you reach out to a travel advisor if you're just going to book it yourself? So the way it works for our agency, we have an inquiry form. If you know what you want to book, you can just always email me. But if you want us to do any research for you, provide options, provide pricing, some ideas of where to go, things like that, then we do have an inquiry form. Currently, we are processing those within 5 business days. It really just depends, guys. I booked 113 cruises last month, and if you guys aren't travel advisors, that's a lot. Um, it's a lot. So we follow up right now during wave season within 5 business days, usually a lot sooner than that. But there's no fee. So we'll send you inquiries. If it doesn't work, we'll, revamp, provide you some additional options. And then when you're ready to book, we will help get you booked, find the best cabin for you, monitor pricing, although price drops are very rare these days, but I do have clients that monitor their own pricing. And once they see that it drops, they contact me and I'll adjust it for them. We can provide excursion recommendations, even help with hotels or transfers, things like that. But then I'm your go-to. So like right now, I'm answering questions for anyone. If you are a client of ours, you can always contact me if you have any. And for me, no question is a dumb question as far as cruising. So you can, other than if you don't read, then I kind of get like, I put that in writing for you. But Yeah, so we just support however, we can, from the time you reach out to us to get booked, from the time you come home, and then hopefully rebook to get on another ship, because that's usually what happens. People cruise, they want to book another cruise, and we're here to help not only book your cruise, because I think that's a big distinction. A lot of people will say, let me book your cruise. We're not just booking your cruise, we're going to help you plan your cruise. Now, there are some cases, because I have some regular clients that reach out just to get booked because they are avid cruisers and they know what they're doing, but it's more so those new cruisers that need help planning and figuring out what to do, how to do it, giving you tips, tricks, things like that. That's what we're here for. But there's no fee. Some travel advisors do charge a fee. We do not. However, if you are someone that has reached out a couple of times for pricing, things like that, then we will charge a planning fee if you decide to move forward, because I just don't have time to continue to provide options and then you either book on your own or don't book. So yeah. But yeah, there's no fee. Let's see. I'm just scrolling. Thank you, Mary Terry. Appreciate you for that super chat. I think I missed it a while ago. Says thank you for sharing. I'm getting a lot of good information while working. Yes, we appreciate it. We have 106 people watching, so we appreciate you guys taking some time from your day for this Monday midday cruise Q&A, which we plan to go live pretty much most Mondays when I'm not cruising, to answer questions that you may have about cruising. If you don't know who I am RacQuelle from MHFamilyAdventures. We are a cruise vlogging family. We have over 1,500 cruise vlogs, cruise tip videos, port guides, things like that on our channel. We're avid cruisers, also own Major Adventures travel agency, so feel free to reach out. We have been on pretty much all of the major cruise lines. This year I'm trying 3 new cruise lines, including 1 luxury cruise line, and have 17 cruises on the books for this year. So you want to make sure you're following along, because we're going to have a lot more cruise content. There's already quite a bit out there, but yes. And we're here to help you, as far as answering your questions. Norma says, can you bring 1 bottle of water in your purse on MSC? No. When you go through X-ray, they will tell you to pour it out, or they'll confiscate it. I have had that happen, because I tend to need to always have water with me, and I always forget that I have it in my purse or my backpack. And when you go through the X-ray, they're going to make you pour it out. Now, I can tell you this: they're not always as strict about it when you come back on the ship. And I say that because I do have some clients that don't want the drinks and Wi-Fi included with MSC. And because MSC does not allow you to take water and drinks on board, I have had some clients that if they have like an early port stop on their itinerary, when they get off the ship, they'll kind of stock up on water, put it in their backpack, and they don't really question that. So yeah, so that's not guaranteed, but usually they're really strict when you first embark the ship, not when you're coming back from port. Let's see here. On the Go Yellow says, sorry if I missed it. What is your itinerary for Costa? Are you excited? Um, so Costa offers some really nice itineraries. Again, this will be my first Costa cruise. Costa is affiliated with Carnival, and if you guys have been on Venezia or Firenze, other ships are pretty much that's where Firenze and Venezia came from Costa Cruises. I don't remember exactly where I'm going, but it's all Dominican Republic. It's Rojo, Puerto Rico. La Romana, that's where I'm embarking. Catalina Island, Samana. There's 5 ports, and they're all like right there around Dominican Republic. So, but they're all 5 new ports for me. Now, I've been to La Romana, but I have not docked in La Romana. I've taken a cruise out of there. So I'm taking the cruise out of there, and then I'm going to do an excursion when I return. I can't remember the exact itinerary though. But they also offer a really nice one going to some of those places that I was at a few weeks ago as well, like going to St. Martin and things like that. So but it was really cheap. If you guys go on Costa Cruises website, they have a tab that says last minute cruises. Check it out. Like, check it out. If you're curious about Costa Cruises, like I said, I paid $600 for mine, and it was actually like 4 something. And then could add the drink package on at the time of booking, and it wound up being like $600. So, and you want a drink package for Costa Cruises, because my understanding is they don't even give you free water in the main dining room. You have to pay for it. So it'll be a very interesting experience on Costa, just to see how they do things differently than other cruise lines. And I will be sharing a lot of my stories on Instagram, so follow us there. Welcome in those of you watching on Facebook. Appreciate you guys being here. Let's see here. Justine, welcome in. Appreciate you being here. Yes, you did just book. She said, "So excited for my trip. I just booked with you. Do you only do cruises?" Yes, only cruising. And I feel like I'm very comfortable with cruising because I'm certified pretty much with all the cruise lines to book travel, and that's my form of travel. And so for me, like you can use any travel advisor, obviously. However, there's some comfort in knowing that my travel advisor has either been on that ship, been on that cruise line, been to these ports, can advise me. And you don't have to wait on hold with the cruise lines to answer your questions. And so for me, I feel more comfortable, not that I'm a salesperson at all, but I feel more comfortable selling cruises and booking people and helping them plan their cruise because I've done so many of them. So it becomes easy because I've done it so many times. So that's kind of why I'm sticking with that. I've only ever done one all inclusive, and therefore when people turn to me and asking, can I help them with their all inclusive, I do have to decline because I'm just not. I don't want to ever spoil someone's vacation because I didn't know what I was doing as a travel advisor because I'm trying to learn something that I'm not clearly experiencing myself. And I do think there's value in booking your travel with, whether it's with us or someone else, with a travel advisor that actually travels and cruises, what have you. So yeah, we only book cruises. And the question comes up often, why don't you book flights? This is why. And I'm always very open about that. And I've lost a couple of clients behind it, but I have to be honest with you. Two reasons why we don't book flights. One, because there's no commission. I'm in a business. I'm in a business to make money. And whereas we want to give you a comprehensive package, the issue with flights is the time that it takes to figure out those options for people. A lot of times people aren't ready to make their payments. And if you guys have booked your own flights, you know that flights fluctuate all the time. And so it takes a lot of time. It actually takes more time to find the flights and book the flights than it does to find the cruise and book the cruise. And so it's just having to weigh the options of, okay, I'm spending more time on the flights, not getting paid for it, when I can just book people that don't need help with their flights. And that's honestly what it is. But also, because I did initially start off with helping people with their flights, but then I ran into an issue where I was cruising and I had a client that had a cancellation and they were preparing to get on a cruise. When you book flights through a travel advisor, the airlines require that the travel advisor contact them to make the changes. Or, if it canceled, to rebook, things like that. And so for that reason, I never want to have anyone stranded because I do travel frequently. And if I'm out at sea and someone's canceled or delayed, I may not be available to contact the airlines. And if you've ever had to wait on hold with the airlines, it could take hours. Um, and so you're waiting on hold for 3, 4 hours for American Airlines and you're not getting paid. So some people don't like that, but I'm very transparent about it. I'm in the business to make money. So, and that's what it is. But I do have some clients that just need some extra support, whether, they are just really, really new to traveling altogether, or sometimes if they're a little bit older, not very tech savvy, I will help draft some ideas for flight. So I will ask them what's their home departure, and I'll send them some options that they can go online or call in to book themselves, but I will not actually book the flights. But if it's a cruise line, some cruise lines do offer flights, I'll do that. And that's because I don't have to manage that after that. The cruise line will help manage it if I'm unavailable to help. Let's see here. Yes, Philindy says starboard side on MSC for the lighthouse. Absolutely. Just scrolling through. If you have any other questions, feel free to drop those here. Welcome in, Jonathan. Appreciate you being here. Mary Terry, yes, I did get your super chat. I just didn't see the notification. Felinda says Royal Miami is the best. Absolutely. Galveston. I've only cruised out of Galveston once, and that was on Norwegian Prima. And I just wasn't a fan of flying into Houston and having to commute. I'd rather just be able to get right there to the ship. Let's see here. Dennis says, do you know Carnival will allow me to cancel a booked cruise and rebook another one if it is a non-refundable deposit? No, they will not. No, they will not. So if you're booked under a non-refundable deposit, that's pretty much what that means. So what'll happen is Carnival does have depending on what type of offer you have. If you have a casino offer, you can't make name changes, you can't change the booking. But if you're booked under like their early saver promotion and it's non-refundable, Most times you can pay a $50 per person ship and sale date change fee. So that you don't lose everything that you paid or your deposit or what have you. Sometimes it's just more advantageous. Advantageous? I'm not speaking right. Sometimes it's better for you to just cancel and rebook. It just depends. But if it's non-refundable, they're not flexible as far as having you to cancel and get a refund or change it. But if it's early saver, you can pay the $50 per person ship and sale date fee change. And that's the same for Royal Caribbean as well. Royal Caribbean's change fee is $100 per person though. So keep that in mind. Um, Let's see here. Someone said they don't care. Oh, Aniga Fiola says, I don't mind per Canaveral because I'm a Universal girl. Yeah. Let's see. Daniel, thank you so much again for the super chat. We appreciate that. It says your info is the best. I try to share as much as I can. Miss Naturalized says, good morning. Have you sold MSC Yacht Club? Not yet, but I will be soon. So stay tuned. Welcome in Edna's world. Appreciate you being here. Yeah, if you guys have not sailed MSC Yacht Club, if you're not familiar with it, it is a ship within a ship, and it's like an exclusive area where you have a butler, usually your own pool deck, own restaurants, and it's very, very exclusive. So I've heard really nothing but positive things about MSC Yacht Club. I have yet to experience it, but it will be happening soon. Let's see here. Michelle from Facebook says, trying Holland for the first time in April because of yours and Addie and Terry's content. Thinking about MSC. Would Seashore Fortnite be a good start? Absolutely. Absolutely. First off, thank you for watching our Holland America content. If you guys are interested in testing out Holland America, I do have a sail with me opportunity. Now, sail with me is not an official group. We won't really have group activities and things, but I will be on board. It's really for those people that just have comfort in sailing with someone, especially if it's something new or a new cruiser that, we'll, have drinks or have dinner or what have you, possibly do an excursion together and experience Holland America. So I have it for Holland Koningsdam, October 21st or the 25th, I believe it is. And it's cruising out of San Diego. Now, Holland America does not offer short cruises usually, but they do have some, periodically they'll have coastal cruises that are 3 to 4 nights where you can kind of, test out Holland America. So the ship that I highlighted, Holland Koningsdam, I'll be back on board. I think right now we have 13 or 14 cabins booked. So if you want to join me, send me a message. If you want to try out Holland Koningsdam, this one is leaving San Diego, returning to San Diego, and it's going to visit Catalina Island, which is part of California, Ensenada, Mexico, and San Francisco, maybe? Can't remember, but there were 2 stops in California and then Ensenada, Mexico. But yes, MSC Seashore is a great starter. In fact, we had our first official MHFamilyAdventures group cruise last year, and we had 123 so people on board. No, 145 people on board for MSC Seashore, and they had an amazing time. And a lot of them were either brand new cruisers or new to MSC. In fact, I have a client I think might be in the chat that sailed MSC for the first time with us on MSC Seashore last year and is sailing again, I think next month, because they enjoyed it so much. So yeah, I would say it's a great first time. Fun times with Ray Nancy says, yes, wave season. Guys, wave season is crazy. We are so thankful though. Guys, when I tell you, if you guys didn't catch my recap on YouTube last year, I mentioned that our agency sold about 1.5 million in cruises last year. I can tell you for the month of January, we tripled what we sold last year. So it was insane. Wave season is crazy. If you guys aren't familiar with wave season, it is just the time where people are really booking travel for that year or the following year. Sometimes you can find some wave season deals. They're really not that good this year, honestly, but you might find a deal here and there, but it's really just the busiest time for booking travel. So travel advisors are just, booking travel at this time. So it's very, very busy. Welcome in, Cruz Valero. Appreciate you guys being here. Oh, Ron said, explain what wave season is. Yeah, it's just the busiest time for booking travel. That's really what it is. Whether it's resorts or cruising or what have you, it is extremely busy. So I've been working around the clock. So much to where I had to start thinking whether my upcoming cruise I'd be able to take or not. It's that crazy. Let's see here. A few more questions and I'm going to wrap up because we're going to try to keep these cruise Q&A sessions at about an hour. So just a few more questions and we're going to wrap up. If you have not already hit that like button, please consider doing that. We have 115 watching, so we appreciate you guys spending some time with us. And I know I went live last week at noon, this week at 11. The next time it'll probably be around 2 p.m. because I put a survey out there on YouTube to ask what time works for you guys. I know a lot of you guys are working. I thought that lunchtime hour would work better, but it sounds like people want to have their lunch break and then come back and watch us live. So that's going to be the plan, is to go live after lunch break so you guys can have your lunch and then join us live to answer cruise questions. Um, Lorraine says, I'm traveling with children, including a toddler on Horizon this June. Is there things to do at the Ocho Rios port? No, not really. The Ocho Rios port, they have now. I don't know if the other docks. So they have two docks in Ocho Rios. And the last time I was there, which was July, there was an accident on one of the piers that ship collided with it. So people weren't docking. I don't know if that's reopened yet. If it hasn't, then you'll have to take a complimentary shuttle to the side that kind of has things. What they have over there is they have, is it Margaritaville? Yes, they have Margaritaville there and a very small beach. In order to access that beach, you have to purchase food and drinks, and it's a really, really small beach. So I would not plan on going there for the beach, and it's going to be jam packed with adults drinking, honestly. But they do have like a little village area that you can kind of walk around. Periodically, they'll have like performances and things there, but there's not a whole lot. I mean, shopping, you could do some shopping there, a couple little restaurants. There's not a whole lot at Ocho Rios Port. Margaritaville is the top thing. A lot of people don't do a lot in Ocho Rios. They will go to Margaritaville, so it gets busy. Like there'll be a line outside the door. So if you do plan to do that, just to give the kids a chance to get in the water, you want to get off the ship early and get there early. But there's really not. You're going to have to do an excursion of some sort. Depending on how adventurous you are, I would say to go to Conoco Falls, which is a nice area. They have a waterfall that you can climb. I did not make it up, but depending on your kids, Ron and our kids made it up the waterfall. But Conoco Falls is a great option, and they also have like animals and different things there. And it's not too far from the cruise terminal. If your kids are into dolphins, there's Dolphin Discovery there, not too far from the port. Some people will catch. I probably wouldn't do this with kids, but you can catch the tram up the mountain and go bobsledding and things like that. So there's things to do in Ocho Rios. The beaches there aren't the best, in my opinion, but there's things to do. But you're going to have to leave outside the port, honestly, if you're traveling with children, because there's not a lot to do there. Thank you so much, Bubba D. Williams, for that super chat. I appreciate that. Again, it helps support our channel. It supports our travels, us editing these videos, all of this stuff. So it really does help when you guys contribute to our channel. And again, if you have not liked this video, please consider liking it and subscribing if you have not already. All right, we'll take a couple more minutes, couple more questions, and we have to go. Let's see here. Drea says, is there an alternate way? Welcome in, Drea. I appreciate you being here. It says, is there an alternate way, better way to check if cruise prices drop after booking other than checking yourself? Honestly, there's not. Some people were using like the Shipmate. If you guys aren't familiar with Shipmate, that's how I keep track of the number of cruises that I've been on. They have like a feature that can alert you if your price drops. The issue with that is, and I can almost guarantee you 90% of the time when I have a client reach out to me and they say the price of my cruise dropped, it was because they got an alert from Shipmate and it's not accurate. Because what Shipmate does is it factors in that cabin category. So if you are booked on Carnival Horizon interior cabin, you can go on Shipmate and ask for price. And I don't know if they still do, because I haven't got many questions about it lately, but you could go in and say, this is my sailing, and then select interior, and then they would alert you if the price dropped. The issue is that the price might have dropped, but it might have been for the guaranteed cabins. It has to be apples to apples. There's 10 different categories within an interior cabin. And if it's not your specific category, there's no price drop. Or sometimes it's very vague and it'll say that this cruise itself had a 10% price drop, but it may not be for your cabin type. I can tell you guys this now. Don't book a cruise counting on a price drop, because price drops are very, very rare these days. The cost is just going up. And I'm going to just probably put it out there and say 90% of the time when someone reaches out to me about a price drop, it doesn't exist. So book the price that you want. Hopefully there's a price drop. But yeah, there's really no easy way to do it other than, like, you can always reach out to me. I can price check it for you real quick. But if you do, a lot of people will go back to the cruise line's website to price check. You have to make sure you're doing apples to apples. So if you are deck 10 midship, you need to make sure you're looking at a deck 10 midship cabin to see if the price dropped. Also consider this. People don't understand this. When you do a price drop, your promotion changes. So oftentimes I'll get someone that'll say, my current promotion has $250 onboard credit, but I see that the cost of the cruise is slightly lower. It's $50 lower. And they say, I want to get that. I have to explain to them, if I adjust the price, you now lose that $250 onboard credit. So you have to pick and choose. You want $50 off your cruise, or do you want to keep that $250 onboard credit? So when you do a price adjustment, it changes the promotion. So if you had a casino offer that had drinks and Wi-Fi, or had drinks included, that may disappear. So you always have to look to see if that promotion that you're looking at matches your current promotion, because you could miss out on things if you're looking at the price drop, if that makes sense. Welcome in, Denise. I hope you're doing well. Says, I'm going on Celebrity Ascent for the first time. Is there anything specific you really liked on Celebrity that, hold on, it's cutting off, that I should try? And how was the entertainment? Entertainment was great. I can't think that far back though. I feel like I did that. I don't even, was it 2 years ago I did Celebrity Ascent? The food. The food was amazing. I would say definitely make sure that you're eating. Specialty dining was great to me. I try to do specialty dining sometimes when I cruise a cruise line for the first time, and that was my first time on Celebrity. I think I enjoyed all of the specialty dining options. But yeah, the shows were amazing. They have a lot of live entertainment. I would also recommend going to the Martini Bar. That was something that I missed on Celebrity Ascent. They do, if you go to the Martini Bar, if you guys are familiar with Celebrity, they'll do a show, I think twice a night, where they're like juggling glasses and doing all kinds of things with martinis. And then they'll pass out the martinis, at the end to, I did get a martini when I was on not Carnival, Celebrity Silhouette. So check that out. It was kind of a cool experience. But yeah, I honestly, I can't think back to what the exact shows were, but I just know that they were really good. And they actually had a guy that was performing. I think he was from FAMU, but amazing singer. Was he Motown, or he did something? I can't recall, but check out the shows for sure. Welcome in, my cruising family. Appreciate you being here. Let's see here. Desiree says, where can I get information for the all girls trip for next year? On our website. MajorAdventuresTravel.com. I will reshare it today or tomorrow on YouTube and on Facebook and Instagram. So if you aren't following us on social media, that's usually where I post those things. It's going to be on board MSC World Europa, June 12th through the 19th. It departs from Barcelona, and we have, I think, 5 or 6 port stops. And it is a ladies only trip. Right now we have 10 or 11 cabins booked. So yeah, reach out if you want to get booked. We still have plenty of space. What is Costa's current smoking policy? Years ago, it was an issue for me. I've heard mixed things about that. I will let you know after my Costa cruise, because I cannot do smoke. And I'll be very honest, if smoking is allowed all over the place, I've seen mixed things. Um, I've heard that the ships that are still currently sailing overseas, like in Europe, that sometimes it's allowed in places that aren't normally allowed. Whereas the ones that are currently sailing the Caribbean, it's not allowed. But I'll confirm once I get on board, let you know. Because I'll be very honest, if smoking is allowed in like a lot of public spaces where I have to be, I probably will disembark the ship. And that's just because I get sick with the smoke, and I can't, I just can't. Like, I like to play in the casino. I can't stay in a casino too long because then I get sick because of the smoke. So I will let you know. Let's see here. TLJ says, I'm going on MSC Yacht Club Sunday. Do you have any advice or information about this experience? I do know that I have not personally experienced Yacht Club, but I've had clients to do it, and I've seen videos on it. I do know that you're going to have a butler. There's a specific check-in station for you when you get to the terminal. They will get your luggage and everything. They will have a butler come down and get you, walk you through The terminal walk you directly to your cabin. They will literally unpack your luggage, which I personally would never allow. But they will unpack your luggage, get everything set up, take you to concierge where you can plan your excursions, and kind of get an idea of what you want to do on the ship. They will literally escort you to the shows. They have a designated area there at the shows for you. They will reserve your dining time in the yacht club restaurant. They just get a feel for what you want in your cabin, things like that. I will experience it at some point this year, but I have not. I can't really give you much more than that. But I just know that they, like, even when you come back from your excursions, if it's not an MSC excursion, they will wait for you like in the terminal or the area to get you back on the ship. And it's just, I'm kind of the person, like, I don't really want that type of attention, but I've had a lot of clients asking about it and a lot of people, a lot of viewers asking. So I feel like I need to experience it to see it. I'm kind of like, I don't want you hovering over me, and I don't want you unpacking my stuff. That's just how I am. But I do feel like I want to experience it to be able to share more. But that's really all I have. Um, uh, Candy says, not here to make friends, here to make money. I mean, I have to be honest. I mean, I am here to make friends. I have a lot of clients who, constantly book with me, and I appreciate that. But yeah, it is, we are in a business. Even YouTube. YouTube is a business. So I mean, that's what we're here for. All right. So Deborah says, do any plans to do a group cruise out of New York or New Jersey? I haven't thought about it. And the reason I haven't thought about it, if we do, it'll be Bermuda. I'm just not one to want to cruise out of those ports to go down to the Caribbean, because more than likely your itinerary is going to look like this. It's going to be Port Canaveral, it's going to be Nassau, and it's going to be one other port in the Bahamas. And for me, if I'm going to cruise 7 nights on a ship, I'd rather not be going to those ports per se, unless I have to. I understand some people don't want to fly or don't want to leave from um, Florida ports. For me, 7 nights, because I'm a port person, I love the ports. 7 nights on a ship that's just going to Port Canaveral. Not to say, I shouldn't say just going to Port Canaveral, going to Nassau, going to Freeport. It's just not enticing to me. But if we were to do a group cruise out of those ports, it would probably be a cruise that's going to Bermuda. But I haven't thought about that yet. All right, let's see here. Good question. Is it Asante? Welcome in. Says cruise recommendations for a young adult with special needs turning 18 soon, who's too old for teen clubs, but not ready for full adult activities. Carnival. I will say that, and I say that because I can relate. We have a son who is autistic, loves cruising. He's 19 now, and Carnival's probably been the most engaging for him, even as a young adult. Now, as far as the kids club, now I will tell you this: Carnival is the only cruise line that we've had success in him being 18, still being allowed to go to the teens club. Carnival will allow an exception for special needs. Now you have to go to guest services to ask. They will connect you with the teens club coordinator, and it's at their discretion. So it's not guaranteed, but we have had success going and explaining the situation, saying, he's 19, but cognitively he's more third grade level. He's, you know, he doesn't speak much, things like that, to kind of, they want to get to know the situation. What they do is, if he signs up for the teens club, they will provoke his adult privileges. So that means you have an option. You can decide to go to the teens club, or you can do the adult thing. So we had one cruise where Andrew had the choice, and he decided to go to the teens clubs. So he was in the teens club with his brother. He was able to do all the teen club things after he turned 18. The next time we cruised Carnival, they agreed that yes, he can do the teens club again, but he decided if he did that, he couldn't go to the nightclub, which he wanted to do. He couldn't go to the adults only comedy show, which he wanted to do. So there were things that they will provoke and say he can't do this if he's doing that. So Carnival, for that reason, if he wants to still kind of hang out in the teens club, again, it's not guaranteed. It's at the discretion of the teens club manager or supervisor. But we've had at least 2 sailings where they agreed and they were okay with that. Now that he's about to turn 20, I don't know if that would work anymore. But when he had just turned 18 and 19, we got it to work. So just a little tidbit there. Other cruise lines that we have not had success with, and they're pretty strict about, if you're 18, regardless of anything else, we cannot allow it. So Yeah, keep that in mind. But carnivals, for me, they're very, very inclusive. They do have the Culture City program. Royal Caribbean has it as well, for those that have sensory disorders, where they will provide a complimentary bag that has like fidgets and sunshades, for shows like lights and things, sound canceling headphones, things like that you can borrow during the cruise. And they're trained to know when individuals, because they'll give you like a lanyard that says Culture City on it. So like crew member would know, like if that individual needed some supportive, some sort of support, that that individual has special needs, they will connect you with, try to find the family, what have you. So Carnival. But yeah, I can go more detail if you want to email me, but I would definitely say Carnival, and that's from our personal experience. Let's see here. Two more questions, and I'm sorry, guys, if I did not get a chance to answer your question, I will have to save it for next week. If we're going live from Costa Cruises. But Ken says, my wife and I are going on a cruise to Nassau for Valentine's. Any advice with weather and temperatures? It'll still be pretty mild, February, so I would say dress like summertime. Still pack something to warm up, to like a sweater, because it could be a cooler day. I have been to Nassau and like private islands when it was like 60, 70 degrees out. It just depends on the weather, but it could still be 80 degrees. It really just depends. I would say check the weather the week before you leave to see kind of what the average will be. The water will be cold though, for most people, but people will still be out there snorkeling and what have you. But as far as the temperature, I enjoy that time of year to cruise because you're not really going to sweat a whole lot. It's going to be probably about 80, 75, 80 degrees, warm enough, sunny. And then, like I said, the water is just going to be cold. Let's see here. Sapphire says, hi, I didn't know you were on early. Yes, this is our new series, our Monday midday cruise Q&A, where we're answering questions live about cruising. And it's just answering questions about cruising. Let's see here. Have you ever had to cancel a cruise? And if so, what was your experience like getting your money refunded as far as the process? I mean, for the most part, if you're canceling a cruise nowadays, you're getting it back within 2 weeks. Unless there's some another outstanding thing. Like I've had people to cancel and they get a refund within 3 days. It just depends. During COVID pandemic time, it took forever to get refunds. But now, no, you should get your refund. It depends on the cruise line. MSC is the exception. MSC takes 30 days and they will literally take 30 days to refund you. But most other cruise lines, they tell us like 7 to 10 business days, but usually it's not even that. Let's see here. One more question and then we have to go. Let's see. The best of Starlight. I'm planning a Mediterranean cruise. What cruise line do you recommend? I've only taken MSC Mediterranean because they are an Italian-based cruise line. Had a good time. Oh, let me take that back. I did a Celestial Journey, Greece. Loved it because of the itinerary. I would say this: if you're cruising the Mediterranean, I would make your decision based on the itinerary and not the ship. And I say that because a lot of the Mediterranean cruises are very port intensive, and you're probably not going to spend a lot of time on the ship. So I personally wouldn't make a recommendation based off a ship. I would make it based off the itinerary, if that makes sense. Because you can take a Mediterranean cruise that has 7 days and 6 ports, and you will be exhausted between the time difference from wherever you live, to being off exploring those ports, that you're honestly, if you look at our MSC Grandiosa series, we literally don't show much ship content at all because we were gone. And you have long port days in the Mediterranean. So you might dock at 8 a.m. and be there till 11 p.m. So I would not plan based off the ship. I would plan it based off the itinerary. But I would say MSC does it well as far as pricing, the inclusions, things like that. And they are an Italian or European based cruise line. But you have your mainstream cruise lines. If so, I've had some clients that they want to go abroad, but they're comfortable sticking with the mainstream lines that they know. Royal Caribbean, you can find Mediterranean cruises. Carnival, very rare, but they do have some Mediterranean cruises. Celebrity cruises, they have some, but there's also other ones that are available, like Celestial cruises, like Costa cruises, P&O. There's other places, other cruise lines that are in the Mediterranean, but I wouldn't recommend based off the cruise line. I would recommend based off the itinerary. All righty. Let's see, guys. I'm going to have to close out here. Just trying to see if there's anything else outstanding. Last question. I think I'm down to the bottom of the chat. What is your favorite airline, and are you exclusively with them? Don't have a don't have a favorite airline, but I can tell you that the airline that we fly most is Spirit. And people always talk about Spirit, and I think it's truly those people that have not experienced Spirit. We at some point we were able to get like one-way flights for $25 without seats or bags included from where we live to Florida. And for that reason is why we choose them. In my mind, I don't need to pay a high price for a flight when I'm only going to be on it just to get there where I need to be, 2 hours, whatever. Um, that is, I just need to get where I need to be. And if you guys look, Spirit doesn't really have major issues. People will say Spirit cancel, Spirit this and that. American Airlines has a worse reputation than Spirit in that regard. Um, so yeah, just do your research. But Spirit is it. I do fly American a lot, especially like now that I'm going abroad more. So it's usually American, but I don't have a preference. I go wherever it's cheapest, and that's honest. I mean, wherever it's cheapest. So last year I flew Norse. You might not have heard of Norse Airways, but I was able to get over to Athens, Greece for like $300, $400, or whatever it was, round one way. Um, so I go wherever it's cheap. All right, guys. So I appreciate you guys being here for our second Monday midday cruise Q&A. I do have to run. Today is actually my off day from the travel agency, so I try to take advantage of creating content and doing other things on this day. Although I know I have clients I have to follow up with, but stay tuned. Follow. I will go live sometime next week when I'm on board Costa Cruises, and follow Instagram because I will post stories of my experience on board. And I'm going to update it. Our next Monday midday cruise Q&A will be at 2 p.m. So be sure you are following, turn the notification bell on so you know when I do plan to go live, and bring your cruise questions and we'll talk about them. But we will be going live tomorrow for Cruise Chit Chat Tuesday. Ron will be joining me just to talk about cruising. So stay tuned for that. We will continue. Also tomorrow we will have a video release of an excursion that we took in Nassau, Bahamas. And we will have our regular Friday TGI Friday vlog. So again, if you are new here, I'm RacQuelle from MHFamilyAdventures. Please consider subscribing. We are on the road to 50K. Appreciate you guys being here for this cruise Q&A. If you guys if you want to hear more about cruising, Royal Caribbean, probably Star of the Seas, all of that, head over to Parkers on the Go. They are currently live. I went over time. They're currently live over on their channel talking about Royal Caribbean. So I will see you guys next week sometime. Have a great week.